is once you start winning the big ones, unfortunately, yes, it is about the money until you get there, because I experienced this.
Ready to start?
But they're gonna say I'm a Nick Walker hater.
You are a hater.
Fuck.
All right, so we're back. Cutler Cast episode 62.
Milos knows which one it is.
Okay, it's 62. It's
62, I told you
not
before.
82.
Yeah.
Back
And
by
we're-
popular demand.
Yeah, we're back with, of course, Milos Sarcev. Milos. And Arnold Classic champion,
Regan.
amateur. Regan Grimes.
Regan Grimes.
Wait, you just
Brazil.
said did you say your name right?
Regan.
Is it Reagan?
Sometimes, yeah.
That's
You
what I
me
call
Regan,
him.
yeah.
You call him Reagan.
I do?
You used to a lot. Yeah.
His name's Regan.
I mean, I call him Regan. We call him Milos. I mean, so what else did they call you? I heard someone call you something. Milos.
Milos.
Yeah, yeah.
Milos. That's good.
So listen, guys, glad to have you guys back on. We want to discuss a little bit about the scope of what's going on in the bodybuilding world right now.
Last time we were here, we were disappointed about the entrance. Of
I know.
Arnold Classic.
We kind of knew
Look
a little
at now.
top secret. Yeah.
Hey, you guys knew. You didn't want to share it. They knew it right away.
I'm not telling you
That
anything.
might have.
Yeah, so we've had a huge influx of contestants now that are now signed up to do this. They upped the prize, $100K. Happened actually as we were launching the podcast. They increased the prize money, $300,000 for first for the men's open. We're going to talk about men's open today.
Yeah.
Very enticing. Regan, he must have thought.
300,000. Yeah,
he must have
that's
thought,
nice.
damn, I
That
should
is
have.
nice.
Like, if I was just ready, right?
How much was it when you?
It was 100 plus a Hummer and a watch. So I would say closer to 200, which was very enticing. But remember, it backed down to, 130, and I think they stopped giving away the prize of the car. But listen, 200K is a hell of a prize. 300,000 is a lot better, especially in this day and age. Remember, I won the show 20 years ago. So that was my first one, was 2002.
Yeah.
Especially, that was a lot back then.
Even before the announcement for 300,000, 200,000 should be enough to entice everybody to jump in.
Yeah, especially being 8, 9, 10 weeks after. I forget what the number was, but
9 weeks.
after the Olympia, we had a lot of guys in great shape. We had a lengthy season, meaning like the show was longer than a year apart, right? Because of the timeline. The year prior, it was in October, I believe. Then they had it in December the following year. So you decide to pull out of the contest. All your peers are, doing the Olympia. How was your thoughts sitting in the Olympia audience? I know you sat to my left and watched a stage where you thought maybe you should have been, and I'm sure your coach here would kind of agree, right? But,
Yeah.
You made the decision. Did you feel like it still was the right decision?
Yeah, I do for sure. Yeah. It was nice to be able to, just go show up and watch and see, what the caliber was, and, get up close to really see, and then, to evaluate again and just go back and just make the results that are needed to
Who blew you away on that stage, bro?
different people and different parts and whatnot. I think that one of the coolest reactions was from, everyone that was there, was when Derek turned around. That was probably the biggest
Surprise.
reaction that everyone got. Glutes, back, everything it looked awesome. But yeah, Derek killed it.
212.
Yeah,
man.
for 1 year, it's a lot of.
I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about, even with this contest, is, we have Kamal in there, we have Sean Clarita, and we are missing obviously Derek. There's been a lot of controversy about
Bonnick
this.
was a 212.
That's right, but he's long past since solidified himself at being second at the Olympia, winning Arnold's. He is a former Arnold champ. So who else in this lineup is a former champ of the
Brandon?
Open?
So Bonnick
Brandon's not in
won
it.
2 Arnolds. Rami's won 2, but not in Ohio.
Yes.
He won Brazil.
Okay.
Andy won
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Spain one was a post-Olympia show, so it was good competition.
It's still
I don't
Arnold.
remember that.
Yeah.
Arnold is considered Arnold in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
still
big
the
one.
more. It's still the one that counts. And then Nick is a former Arnold winner.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you, I mean, we talked about the timeline of the stage, backstage, and sitting and waiting through all the other divisions. You as a larger competitor, how would that affect you? Would you feel like that could hinder peaking?
Yeah, crazy. Like half an hour can make a difference. Like, it would be really nice if, you were given a certain time, and then you literally come from, be up in the hotel, come down, we know it's, 6 o'clock, you're on at 6:30, you come down and you make the adjustments appropriately, and then just pump up. It's when you have like, okay, guys, you're going to be up in half an hour, start pumping up, and then it's really not. It's like in an hour. That takes it, you're pumped up, then you lose it, then you pump up again. It can make a big difference for sure.
Especially backstage, remember for Reno, we had that maintenance meal, just to be there according to what they tell you when it's scheduled. It makes a bit, I'm sure it makes difference for you.
Huge for me.
The bigger the guy, the more influence, for sure. So, yeah. You mentioned Derek, right? You say when he turned around. I think that Derek, when he came and opened up, from the front relax pose, that was the beauty. Yeah.
He's so wide, and this is your advantage too, right? We talk about the width, and you're like the taller version of Derek, right? In a sense, right?
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, we can talk about the improvements, like, arm improvement, fuller in the pecs, legs, like we need you fuller, right?
Yeah.
I said he was a taller version of Derek, and they flamed me all over the internet.
No,
for it.
I mean, it's
But he
because
is.
people don't want to hear like
Flanger,
listen,
it's
No, just a bunch
it's
of
obvious.
people saying.
because listen, your back is stronger than the front poses
Yes.
for you, right? But the shoulder
Yeah.
width is ideal, and we always talk about once you fill that frame. So I'm sure it gave you a good fire, because I remember
sure.
watching when I didn't qualify, like in '98, and being able to be like, I've got to get up there, and then I was qualified every year after that. It was disappointing, but at the same time, like the game plan is still the same, right? I mean, we haven't picked a contest yet this year, because I know a lot of our viewers, listeners have asked.
You
But it's,
did.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
wait, we're announcing it yet, or are we not talking about that yet?
You know what's crazy
I'll leave it
though?
up
We
to-
still don't even know exactly what shows and the dates they're going to be on yet.
Right.
So we're still kind of like,
Yeah.
Okay.
like I know he's got
You
his
know, like
eye on a couple, but
How much
we don't know the
Frame,
date yet.
June, July.
Well, you're
around
looking
there.
huge, man.
Yeah, thank you.
How much you waited now? 240.
I don't want to talk to him unless he's 300.
Yeah,
Until he's on-
You get spoiled with Samson, huh?
yeah.
What?
You get spoiled with Samson. Do we want to ask how big Samson is right now?
Yeah.
Do we want to? Are we scared to talk about weights?
No, we actually are not stepping on the scale again, just like for Olympia. I really had no clue, and I told him, don't even step on scale. It means nothing.
Wow.
Until that Monday when they told me and they showed me 294.6.
Monday.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
he looks better though.
No,
he
yeah.
looks like
Is
he looks tighter.
he looks like he's kind of coming into his own a little bit more. And we talk about the continuation of the diet, and sometimes it's important. And after our last podcast, I sat back at my house and I reevaluate our conversations. And what I realized is, do you remember I did like the 01 Olympia, and then I went into the 02 Arnold. And then I skipped
Olympia.
I skipped it, but I went back, and in 03 I did like a string of shows. And remember, I lost to Dexter Jackson at the last one. It was like the year of Cutler, but I lost at the GNC. And it was a big money contest. It was $100,000, and I finished second and got 50. And I was disappointed as hell, but I was like, I'm gonna fucking redeem myself. So I went to the Arnold in 04 immediately. I went right onto the diet continuation, and I came in, leaner, almost lost because I felt like I was a little hindered by I didn't have the fullness. But then went into Olympia in 04. And then, 05, I decided to focus solely on the Olympia because I was knocking at the door. And, every year it's like I looked at when I was coming in my best shape was when I did 2 contests a year. And then I had the on and off, mix, like 07, 08. I lost in 08. Then in 09, I came back, I hit it right. But if you really look at the track, my best peaks were the years I was doing 2 contests. So I have to agree with what you said. You're a professional bodybuilder. Competition is what you do. it's important to compete.
Absolutely.
Once a year was like, even though I was guest posing every week and whatever else, but I sat back and I was like, what would I have done? But I was mad as hell at that GNC show of strength because Dexter beat me, and I was like, I got to redeem myself. So I know anyone that came off the Olympian might have had a placing that they did not expect. I would have been like, damn, I'm justifying this by going to the Arnold Classic, and we didn't see that. Yeah. And we're going to go over that list because now we have 8, right? But
we'll go over each guy.
And just make sure that I mentioned, as I told you before, we mentioned Derek, and now you're talking about the competitions. In Olympia TV, there was Nick, Flex, Sean, Bob, and Sean mentioned about, Derek skipping the contest, he's afraid to compete. And that didn't sit well with me because Sean himself, last 10 years of his career, he only did Olympia. And one time when he decided to test himself, 93, he was like 3rd at Ironman, 5th at Arnold Classic. Going into the Arnold Classic, it was like, Vince Taylor, he's 40 years old. If I lose to 40 years old, I'll retire and stuff like that, right? But there, he didn't fare well, so he decided just to do the Olympia. It's safer. All the way to 1999, I have to mention this. After the Olympia, he went to Dorian, talk about British Grand Prix, and then he goes, I'll come and guest pose. Week after the Olympia. I say, Ronnie, Kevin, Flex, Dexter, Nasser, Milos, Marcus, they're all going to compete. Why would you guest pose? So this tells you if somebody is afraid, he has a track record of being afraid and just being protected, of being at Olympia and peaking once a year. So Derek, as much as I would say, if I was his coach, it's $300,000, prestigious contest. And you've seen the posing on the Instagram. God damn, he's in shape, right? So it would make 0 sense not to cruise into the Arnold Classic that's now 5.5 weeks away.
And circling back to what you said, I mean, he would just get better, too.
But you know what? I'm gonna
he's never done it though.
I'm going to defend him a little bit because in the end, I don't think he's a money guy. Like and we can all say, and I know, Nick Trigilli. Shout out to Nick Trigilli.
Yeah, Nick's gonna take that clip.
Okay, sure. But he says it's about the money.
What did he say?
The money isn't just on the stage, right? It's about the brand and projecting what the future is, business aspects. Like, we don't know what Derek might have involved. And I can even talk about Sean Ray. Like, he did do the exhibitions, he did the marketing, he did the videos. I know you shake your head a little bit, but
what's his priority?
Listen, I mean, people thought I was crazy in 2002 when I sat out, right? The Olympian, they're like, dude, you had him in 2001. What are you thinking? And granted, I was moving and whatever, and I guest posed, and yes, the prize money wasn't as much then, but Derek's not a guy that's, I don't think, driven by money yet. The problem is once you start winning the big ones, unfortunately, yes, it is about the money until you get there. Because I experienced this. Like, I didn't even think about the money. Even when I was winning, yes, I didn't think about necessarily the actual prize money because it was nothing close to what we're talking right now. Mm-hmm. But it was like, okay, if I win this title, how much more is my popularity? What bigger platforms can I go on? How many more guest appearances? How much more branding can I do? Can I make shirts, this and that? It did explode from second place to being Mr. Olympia was massive. And you said, we've gone back and forth, and you said, well, he could win 150 at the Olympia, and he could have won this 300. That's
and if 450. Let's just paint that picture that this was a smart move. And he goes and wins the Olympia. That's $400,000. If he's going to win the Olympia, he would have won the Arnold. And that's just my personal opinion. I don't think 8 weeks is going to make that much of a difference at that level because he's already right there. But these guys nowadays don't make the money you made. They can say they do, but they don't.
I understand, but they're not. They don't have a taste of it yet, is what I'm saying. Yes. So they're not. They might not be as motivated as us as seasoned guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, he's a youngster, right? Like. You didn't want to jump at it. You didn't call Milos and be like, I should do this in 8 weeks or whatever else. And granted, maybe you think that you're not at that level yet to win it. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, I have to go to some defense because he hasn't had the taste. But once he gets that taste and he finishes, remember, he has only hit it once, like perfect. since he got his pro card and whatever else and won. I think he won Tampa right out of like getting his pro card, right? Yeah. He's missed, all those 212. Like he was so close. He was the heir apparent to Flex Lewis. He lands it right at the Olympia. There's still that, well, he could have been better from the front. So I understand why Hani's like, let's pull back. We have all the time. He's 29 or 30, whatever he is. He's your age, right? I understand his position both ways. I understand
both sides.
Yes, yeah. And so I have to go to some defense because we've sit here and talked about the money, but damn, the lineup now. Like, there's a lot of guys that can win this show, and that includes Clarita.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it includes Bonnick, and it includes Sampson, and includes Nick Walker, who I think in the driver's seat.
And now Andrew Jack is Chris Aceto.
And Rami.
Rami, too.
Okay.
You mentioned Clarita, so let's just focus on this
hold on. Let's go through the list. I got them in alphabetical order. Yeah. We'll just go through each person because we'll end up missing somebody. Okay. So this year, the first person we'll talk about is Bonnick. So whoever wants to start, go. I mean, obviously, he's a 2-time champ, runner-up at the Olympia. Let Regan start.
Bonnick is super freaky in person. Like, remember at Boston?
Yeah, backstage?
Yeah, bicep is insane. He's super dense. He's probably one of the most muscled guys up there, I would say. And he could be, I want to say dark horse because he's has titles, and he's placed really well. So, I mean, very well, he could come in and surprise everybody.
Completely agree with you. So, backstage at Boston, I mean, we were both like fans touching his biceps, and then he would squeeze and rotate, and his fibers, chest, shoulders, arms, the freakiest thing ever. Yeah. So we all respect Bonnick a great deal. He under-delivered for the Olympia, but it's not like he was way off.
No, but
I think,
But I think, like, if he was maybe 10%, he was off. But that 10% for him makes a huge difference.
Yeah. So Bonnick was top, and then he slipped, lost some legs, and now he regained those legs, but he was just not in a top condition.
If he's in top condition, can he win?
He won twice already, so he is definitely a contender. For Bonnick, I always say he has no V-tapers, so the tall guys, big guys like Rami and Andrew Jack with this width, Samson, that's going to be too much to handle. I think that Bonnick is a true contender. Last time I said I have a feeling he's not going to even do it. Now that he's doing it, he has to deliver. This is redeeming. He's not so young. He has to put all the eggs in this basket.
What do you think, Jay?
It's a width game, and he's got some monsters up there. So I think this is where he'll struggle is, we talk about structure and the balance of some of these guys. I mean, listen, we know Andrew. I mean, even at not his best is still a structure guy. We know Sampson, even at not his best, is still a structure guy. Mm-hmm. Hard to pass those two people, and Nick Walker is just on a run right now. I mean, those three guys, I don't see him getting by those three guys in this lineup.
Unless they're off and he's
like way off, you know what I mean? But I can't expect any of them. One's coached by him, so we can't expect him to be much off, and we hope that Andrew falls. I think Aceto will find the formula for him, and Nick Walker's already ready. Like he's walk in today. So.
I think Nick's gonna look better.
Nick is always ready. He's one of those that freaky condition. I mean, I was so impressed seeing him 6 weeks out. What was it? 4 weeks out of the Olympia. Super thin skin. The zero body fat. I mean, so you gotta give him.
And Rami.
Let's go. The next person on the list is Clarita. Let's start. Jade.
Clarita's, it's going to come. Listen, he's very complete, but does he get lost in the big dudes? If the big dudes are conditioned enough, I mean, he's got no shot.
And you said it's a width game, and he's not a wide guy.
Yeah, he's not a wide guy, but he's still going to mix it up. He's going to surprise people, and he's going to land in some placings that people don't, in between some guys that you would expect him to beat and not beat. So I think that, and we haven't even talked about like Akeem Williams is in this show, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
Like, man, I don't know. It's just good. It's going to be good to see him. I mean, he beat Kamal, and Kamal's in the show.
Yeah.
So, how close are those guys going to be?
I wouldn't want to make a prediction for Clarita because he could shock everybody, or he could just get overwhelmed. There's a lot of big guys.
I think
Talk
they're gonna
about the
have
guy that
yeah,
he
I know.
beat.
I
Yeah.
know.
He
I
beat
think
you.
they're going to have a hell of a time judging this.
This is the ultimate apples and oranges.
Yeah, and I have no clue what they're going to do. You could, I don't know. It's going to be
Is
crazy.
he the
did you feel
smallest guy in the show?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How did you feel at the arena show? When
That
you
was
were
my
running?
best
Yeah.
ever by far.
But going against him, what did you feel and expected? You expected to win, right?
Now him just coming off of, he was the 212 champ.
No,
So
he was
He
second.
was second that
Yeah.
year, but the year before he had won. So
What'd you
Clarita,
place?
second.
You got second in Reno?
Yeah,
Okay.
to Clarita, yeah.
That was when I made the comment that Regan is a taller version of Derek.
Yeah. And that was 2 weeks after Derek beat Clarita
Mm-hmm.
at Olympia 2021. So, but let's give credit where credit is due. Clarita didn't get smoked against Derek.
No.
It was very tight. It could go either way, right?
Yes.
So he outconditioned Derek at 2021 Olympia, but structure of Derek won him the show. So bigger, taller, just as wide or wider version of Regan, conditioned, even though it's maybe not the exact same conditioning as Clarita, because Clarita is next level hardness, density, all this
Mature.
stuff. Yeah, he has that. But, I would think that that structure, width from the frontal legs to the lat spread, to the back lat spread, you said width is the king. And Clarita is compact. When he's alone, is looking pretty much unbeatable. Everything is there.
Complete.
Complete, yeah. I would say for him, beside the width, chest a little bit behind of his crazy shoulders. So when he does this most muscular, somehow he squeezes in. I would tell him to keep himself a little bit wider. But he's going to be super conditioned, but he's going to still be 176 pounds next to 300-pound guy, which, judge is going to have to decide what they're going to do.
And since you're talking, we're just going to keep you going. The next one, Samson.
Samson, I see him really winning the show. I didn't talk about him winning the Olympia but now consider everything that we've seen, that we know. Can he win the show? Absolutely. And for me as a coach, as I didn't have that winner's mentality like Hugh did, I said many times back in the 90s, I was competing with all these great champions, Kevin Shawn, Flex, the Ordinary. So I never saw myself in it. I absolutely see Samson winning. And when Regan started competing, I see him winning pretty much every show that he enters, because they have what bodybuilding should be: complete, balanced, shapely, thick, muscular, and he's big. So going into the first version of Arnold Classic with only Clarita there, we were going to, just make sure you're going to be out-muscle him anyway, just in crazy condition. Now with Rami getting back in, and what was the take on Rami's conditioning? They say, he needed to be fuller, right? So you expect that this is the card they're going to play. They're going to make him full, and he's the widest, biggest. I mean, he's a specimen. He just like Jay was saying back in the time when you were battling with Phil Heath, your width, it was too much for him to handle. So Rami has that crazy width. If you imagine him a little bit fuller, he's going to be conditioned in specific places and some not. But Samson was standing right next to him and holding his own. So we need to make sure that Samson can still hold his own, because when we talk about Rami, I'll say my opinion. Rami can still very easily win. But I'm going for that Samson has a better physique than Nick. Even if Nick a little bit out-conditioned him, when you consider everything, it's very competitive condition, he has too much for Nick to handle.
Yeah. What do you think, Jay?
Listen, Samson's improving. I mean, I can see it. The confidence. I mean, the posing's great, right? I mean, he has the opportunity to win best poser too at this contest, right?
Is this 10,000?
10,000.
They have it, yeah.
It should be. When they implemented that, it should be on every contest. If you're going to award the posing, but because you told the guys don't pose, who cares?
Well, a lot of the promoters probably can't afford it.
He has a lot of momentum right now. it's just gonna have to see how it plays out. I mean, realistically, I mean, we look at paper. He's him and Nick Walker front runners because they just displayed great physiques and made impacts, right? But I think sometimes we set the standards a little high for people, expectations, right? And especially when you come on here and you say what he looks like. I mean, you're not coming on and saying he looks better than he did. What is it, 6 weeks now, or?
No, it's 5.5.
Okay, so it's a little under, but I mean, I think that he can surely win. Like I said, anyone can win this contest. I mean, he's not the same guy you competed with, that's for sure.
No, definitely not.
No, he's dramatically bigger.
Yeah.
I was at the show.
15 at least.
I was in the second row when Regan and Samson competed in Egypt. And Samson wasn't in the condition probably that he's in better condition now, but he's way bigger now. Than he was.
I mean,
Way
there's
bigger.
two guys, and I know we'll talk about one in a minute, but Andrew Jacked and Samson are like, can you imagine those two like top two in a contest?
It could happen.
I was just going to.
But he's bigger. He's bigger than Jacked. I mean,
more muscle,
and
more
the shape is just out of this world. Although I think Jacked has maybe some more detail in certain areas, more tie-ins, but he's not as dense as the Samson, right? Mature and like we're waiting for it.
For me, when I in the top 10, if I'm going to if I see them all up there and I'm going to scan across, my eyes are going to go to Andrew and Samson.
Yeah.
All day.
I completely agree. So, my wish is that would be a top 2.
Sure.
Because then directional bodybuilding is going to go in the right direction. I mean, really. So, as you say, if you glance and you see those two guys, they stand out. Why do they stand out, right? Because shape.
Because they got width and shape and small waist.
Aesthetics, it looks good.
Yeah.
It's
That's. I mean, I don't know where he's going to place. Just like I don't know what at any of these shows, but Samson's the ideal physique that would win a large show like this. He's got the shape.
Small waist.
He doesn't have a weak body part. There is not a weakness on him. And I know everyone has some type of weakness. I don't look at anything and go, he's lacking here, he's lacking there. Outside of probably conditioning, but if he comes in shape, in really good shape, he wins.
He's pretty close.
Period.
Yeah.
He wins.
He's close.
pretty
For his
damn
last
close.
outing was pretty damn close. I mean, he doesn't have to
Yes.
be as strided as some of the guys because he carries way more
So
muscle and
size,
his shape
yeah.
is great, right?
So like Samson, the show's in his hands. If he comes in his all-time best
Dude,
shape,
he's
he wins.
290 pounds up on stage. Like, who else is 290 other than Rami?
I mean, you have to respect the Olympia order. That's usually highest placing Olympian should be the favorite to win a show 6 weeks later.
Nick is for sure the favorite to win.
favorite to win, yeah.
And if
And
Rami was
Big
fifth.
Rami.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so
he's favored when Rami also off, and he still got fifth. So, and Nick was, I think, his all-time best, and he got third. So what happens if Rami comes
Rami
in
could come redeem
back in his
himself,
old shape?
Yeah.
So the next person on the list is Kamal. You want to start, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's condition. We know it's going to be there, but it's just the structure and the overall size. I mean, that's where are we going to see him?
His conditions.
I don't expect him to push the top spots here.
me neither. I love Kamal. It's conditioning is going to be up the chart, but you say balance, lower body, upper body is still not there. So even as he's symmetrical, aesthetic, you could see even in 212 when Calderon Angel beat him because it was dramatically more V-tapered, X frames, sweeping ties, and Kamal is going to be next to Rami with the legs like this, with the Akeem Williams legs like this.
Is he going to
Samson.
get redemption against Hakeem is the question.
I don't think so. I mean, I love Kamal, 52 years old, right? That's so respectful.
Yeah.
I think that's a good show for him to, be seen, and it doesn't matter the placing. I mean, you were always going for the top spots. I mean, I many times entered a contest just to be there, do my best, doesn't matter the placing. It's hard for you to.
Can he place in the
Yeah.
top five?
I don't think so. I really, that would be
Where the
a,
good money is.
Even with his best conditions,
How many
the
shows was it?
structure is going to.
72.
I did 72
72
shows.
shows. How
And
many
you're, and you're almost 72 years old.
71 time last.
71
All right, the next one on the list is
What do you think of Kamal? Kamal's chances.
Kamal, same as you guys. I mean, his conditioning is always spot on. super impressive from his age. You know, to be still like on the top at that age is quite wild. You know, so props to him, and it's going to be cool to see him up there holding his own. Yeah.
The next person on the list is Big Ramy. So go ahead, Regan.
Big Ramy, you know, coming off of fifth place from the Olympia. You know, we could see him. You know, obviously he's hungry. He wants to redeem himself. He didn't do nearly as well as he thought he would, or can do. So you know, I hope to see him in his best shape, and you know, he could win it. He could really win the show.
Yes.
See, Big Ramy since 2013 when he came on, right? He was that big wonder. Oh my God! So, but when you look at his Olympia placing, it was like 8th and 7th and 6th and 5th and whatever. And then finally 2017 he was 2nd. But all those years, it's still the same frame, crazy muscle, right? It was still not winning the shows because condition was a little bit. So finally he won the 2 shows. Going into the Olympia, talking to Dennis James, he saw him. He repeated this today. He says, if Ramy looks anything like he looked going into the show, like 5 days out, you know, there's no way they can touch him. Mm-hmm. And you know that's possible. You had a strong beliefs last time we talked that he can come back and do 2009 Jay Cutler come back and you know reclaim the title. I think that this move, not waiting for Olympia, was the best move because
it's gonna get better.
Yeah. I think he slipped from 1st to 5th, which a lot of people go, how can you slip from 1st to 5th? They're so close. So Ramy, it was glutes were striated, right? There was parts that you could see he was in condition, but then flatness and, you know, certain things. I would, from the bottom of my heart, say that he needs to watch his posing and really consider how to hit certain poses. You've seen a lot of Instagram. I mean, I love seeing the pictures, comparisons before and after. When he opens up in the front of a biceps with the stretched stomach, he creates a V-taper. For whoever told him to squeeze the abs, which I'm guilty of, I did it because if you have a great abs, show them. But I didn't lose the V-taper and didn't, you know, deform my physique. When he flexes the abs, he internally rotate the arms so the arms are not as big, and then waist got way wider, which if I'm looking right now and judging, I have to consider that. Then he does the same thing in the front lat spread. He opens up and right away he goes down to show the abs. His waist is not as small as it used to be, so I would definitely advise him not to do that. And those are 2 main poses, because from the side, he always looked tremendous. From the back, you said going to the Olympia, you see the concern because of his back.
Yeah, but he was pinching.
Yeah.
So something like with the shoulders or something's causing this change, right? And you're right, the waist isn't smaller, but like his width is his key. And when he's hitting a back double and he's squeezing the lats together, like it's not showing that. So now all eyes, unfortunately, are on the back, right? So we have to see improvement in the posing, and he can justifiably, he's not going to have the best lat back double up there, but he's going to be, he can improve it. And I think, you know, that's one pose versus the rest. So if he can clean up like the front double and the front lat, we know he's strong from the side poses. His conditioning lands right, dude. He's right in the mix to win this contest. I mean, he's not done.
Not done by no means.
He's not done. He's not done. I have faith that he can come back. Now, can he do a reclaim of the title? I'm not necessarily sure, but I agree with you. This is a great decision for redemption. We don't know how he looked 5 days out. Everyone looks great in their hotel or their kitchen, like without any competition there, right?
You guys had a chance to see him at the Fit Club, and you didn't want to see him.
No, I didn't.
That still blows my mind.
Him.
You saw him. And what do you say?
He was just really flat.
Okay.
He was super flat. I saw him pose actually after Jay left.
You know, I think Chad has enough experience, and I mean, it sounds like he's still working with Chad, although, you know, if he's going to suck down and you know, suck all the water out and then expect to fill, I just think it's very tricky with that body. But remember, there's one variable that we're not discussing, a probability, and that was that timeline of backstage that a big body like that suffered the most. Okay, and we all know, speaking with Chris Aceto and Chad and people that have worked with Rami, he's just got a body that goes all over the place. And I was the same way. Like, it took me a lot of food. That's why I asked you, how would that affect you? That's the variable that we're not thinking about, is how did it affect Rami with that huge gap of when the expectation to go on stage is. So let's see an organized contest that we know what time it starts at noon, the prejudging, right, on a Saturday. It's going to start at noon. Let's just hope he hits it right, because we all love Rami, right? It's the sweetest guy ever.
Sweetest guy ever.
I love to see a great comeback like that.
Me too. But one thing that you point out, maybe something to consider, major show like this, probably every pro show, but major show like Arnold and Olympia, prejudging should be timed, because
It will be.
It will be?
For sure.
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, Brian.
How can it not? There's no other division
but,
to go
okay,
before
so-
the men's open starts at noon, right?
I thought it's both nights. Isn't it Friday
I
night
thought
and
they did
Saturday
it
night?
Saturday
Friday night.
noon. I
No,
thought.
Friday.
I don't remember.
Friday night, Saturday night.
No, it's Friday, Saturday night.
Oh, they
It's been like
changed
that
it.
for a couple
I thought it
years,
was
yeah.
noon, and then finals were on the afternoon.
I don't think so. I think it's I think it's a 2-day show now.
When I did Classic, it was like that.
What?
I think they changed it.
Noon
But
and
I know they probably.
Hold on a second. Is it a 2-day show?
I'm
Friday
pretty
and Saturday?
sure.
I
I'm
thought it's
pretty
a
sure.
Saturday noon.
It used to be years ago,
it?
but I don't. It's 2 nights.
Last time at Arnold Classic, we did Friday and Saturday, really?
Well, you better know. You're the
I
coach.
don't remember.
Yeah, no, it was Friday and Saturday.
It was? Yeah.
But you know what though? After all the complaints about the way the Olympia was off, there's no way the Arnold's not going to make sure that everything is on point, because they saw the pushback from that, and plus there's only 6 divisions in the whole weekend. There is not a bunch of other stuff, so they're going to make sure the athletes get the priority.
It's better for everyone, really. I mean, you're going to get a better show. Everyone's going to be, spot
Which for
on.
you as
There's
a
no
coach,
excuse.
it's easier for you to make sure your athlete's going to peak too.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Things
But-
can still go wrong, but that's a big thing. Being able to have you there all the way right to the backstage, because that makes a huge difference. At Reno, I had you there, and you make slight adjustments, a little water, a little salt, a little this, a little, whatever is needed. Takes the stress off the athlete backstage, and all I'm doing is just focusing on I'm there, pumping up.
It would
and
be
let's-
great
let's
to
go
have
on.
that access, but I understand there was so many competitors backstage. There was not enough spaces. So Arnold Classic, the guy actually kicked me out.
I have a question about this. Okay, I'm going to ask you as a 72 contest professional.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 72-year-old.
Come on, dude. You guys just celebrated. By the way, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
He did say to me, "Oh, you missed wishing me a happy
you,
birthday."
you send a message to him. Say, he was sitting right next to me. Wish
Tell
Milos
Milos happy birthday. And then I
I
sent
said
you a
that doesn't
message, so-
count.
okay,
No,
yeah.
that doesn't count.
All right, well, I'll make it up to you next year. Don't worry. So, Friday night, Saturday night
It
contest.
is Friday, Saturday. I just got
Okay. I hate that.
It's pressure.
It's rough, yeah.
It's pressure.
I prefer all one day.
What about the tours when we compete and then we do the finals back to back? Oh, it's so nice, right?
Yeah. You see, European Grand Prix Tour actually open the eyes, because you try, you have no other chance but you're on the road, and you just have to try to peak that way. And then you see, okay, maybe I could get away with a little bit more than I thought I could, right? So 99, the British Grand Prix that I talk about it, this is the first time I'm going against Ronnie, 99 Flex, 99 Kevin, that looks like a monster. And then Nasser and Marcus. I said, I already signed up for the goddamn, the tour. I have nothing to lose. I loaded up like twice as much as I would ever think, it's reasonable. And you've seen those pictures. I keep posting them on Instagram because I was just, I was like jacked, like holy shit, Andrew Jack. But there's no better feeling and you know that very well. And you knew in Reno, when you're on the stage and you feel on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, right?
Yeah, but I just, for me, man, like that 24 hours and, there's always that controversy between like, well, this guy didn't look good on Friday, but he looks so good Saturday night, and then the audience that doesn't come Friday, they're confused because like, I don't know.
So
I just think you would have a lot more attendance of people to come, if it's a 1-day thing, like they can fly in, they can go to both both.
But you guys know,
Prejudge finals.
business-wise, probably
I
they
know,
want
it
to
is,
have
yeah.
a
You said it's going to be
2 tickets.
9 p.m.
NPM.
Prejudging. Yes,
Oh,
because there's
shit.
only 2 divisions each day alongside.
Oh, you already found
I'm-
that?
I'm
Right.
texting.
Okay, so everybody peaks for 9 p.m.
Yeah. But if you know
9
that
p.m.
this
peak.
far out, you
Yeah.
can get Is Samson going to come to Vegas before?
I don't
Spend
think
some
so.
time?
We still don't know yet.
Tell him to.
Yeah.
Be good for
That'd
him.
be cool.
I would wish he comes and then we go
I was
together.
always better at night, though, I'll be honest. Like, if I ate some meals and whatever else. But, you wake up dry in the morning. A lot of people, like, it's, especially in this day and age when the bodies are getting bigger, I think it's harder to peak later in the day.
But dryness, okay. When you say peak, everything boils down to dryness, no? Because, you have to be properly filled, right? But then dryness is measurement of the conditioning. Okay, yeah, as lean as you could be, but not dryness. And you say 2 days. Okay, you have to be dehydrated basically for a first day, right? And then what do you do for the next day? Do you just drink now? So
Can't really.
it's a tough calls, right? So you kind of measure and all that stuff, and eye it, but it's tough. It's
taking us
dehydration
off
is not
topic.
healthy. No,
Let's talk about Andrew
No,
Jack.
I was brought it up because, that's always a
it's a
question I
science,
have.
man.
I want to know, like, so you didn't answer the question. Do you like a 1 day contest or 2 day?
1 day
I feel the
always,
same
yeah.
way.
Because 2 days are two different shows.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Again, the body changes.
Body
from
dramatically
one,
changes.
from one to another.
All right, next one on the list. We'll start with Jay. Andrew Jack.
Dude, you know what I think. I mean, he's new coach, new training. He's here in California right now. What did he finish at the
7th.
Olympia? Okay. I mean, we had big expectations. I mean, he didn't get compared with the top 3, 4, 5.
For him to get 7th, where he wasn't, I thought I thought it was the worst shape.
He's Andrew
condition.
jacked. He's Andrew jacked.
But
I
if
mean,
he's in shape, he's a
You think he
problem.
was better at Arnold, the
Arnold,
UK?
yeah.
You guys saw
you were
him.
there, right, Matt?
I didn't. Yeah, I thought he was. And
Yeah.
from what I understand, he looked better in Texas than he was at the
Texas
Arnold
for sure.
That was his first show of
Yeah.
right?
I-
So we'll see what
Be the
with
most
now with
he
Chris,
can win. He can win.
for sure.
Let's the call out. I want to see once again. I couldn't wait for the Nick Walker, Rami call out. Now I want to see the Samson, Andrew Jack.
I want to see Samson Andrew Jack with Clarita in the middle,
Why?
just for a photo op. Just for a photo op.
Yeah, I mean, you see, so yeah.
Let's talk about Andrew. You.
Andrew, what we talked first time that he can be Mr. Olympia for sure, and then Jay went as far as saying he can be Olympia on his first outing, which how many people can do that? Structure, God-given, right? He has what you say, that hardness, tie-ins, separation. Abs look almost like implants. They're so deep. Jesus Christ. That day when I saw him in front of Steve Weinberger, that was the best Andrew Jack I've ever seen, and that was big, full, hard, and dry enough. He would never have a striated glutes and those ropes on the hamstrings, right? You kind of like Flexfield never got it. He had it kind of in '93, and then he was just not there. And I was just like, and you were also saying to Samson, you don't need striated glutes. You have so many other attributes. Why would you now try to stride the glutes and lose 20 pounds elsewhere that makes you who you are? Andrew Jack is super, super dangerous. I know that Chris is going to dial him in. And dialed in, Andrew Jack can win the contest and, go mano a mano with Samson. I put my money on Samson still, but it's a formidable opponent. If you ask me, those two being first and second, we have a huge future of bodybuilding with Regan coming soon. And then Derek, right? So those would be all shapely, physiques. I said it, I don't want to repeat many times, but it used to be bodybuilding, and then it went into the muscle building. Muscle building, doesn't matter in what shape, order, balance, all this. So when we go to Nick, right? Nick can win Arnold, and he's biggest favorite to win, and the Olympia. But if you really look at the balance, then you have some answers for the questions.
What do you think, Regan? Andrew.
Andrew Jack. Yeah, I mean, he's, like I said, when I look at the lineup, he's the most impressive alongside Samson, as far as shape goes. And then it just boils down to that conditioning. I think if he was just, another 5% tighter, like within the glutes and in the back area, he could win for sure.
Let me ask you something though, Chris Aceto. We know Chris has had a lot of experience. He's worked with he brought in Rami, great, to be second. Cedric we talked about, right? Where it's finding the balance. Like, do you feel Chris in this short amount of time?
Yeah.
Okay, since you help a lot of people, can he really make a big difference?
Yeah. 100%.
Look what happened with Regan in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 100%. Chris is a veteran. You work with him, so you know better than that. And he knows that conditioning is...
I think what Chris, his visual is like, okay, what is the best balance I can create with what I have to work with? That's one thing I can give Chris, is he can take a physique and say, okay, we talk about the striations here and there. I can create the best version of this and what I have to work with, knowing like the output. Obviously, he's training under Chris Psycho right now, so he has someone there pushing him. So I'm sure those two are in cahoots, and I just think the balance could be the best
But here,
that we've seen.
This is interesting.
And not to say George isn't great, right? He's worked with some great athletes.
I think Chris's diet style will also work. He's going to suffer. I mean, it's going to be
Like,
hard.
I think he'll
Yeah,
be on a
you
low-fat
work with
diet.
Chris also.
He's going to,
Look what he did with Roden, too.
What did Chris do to you too?
Well, he'll probably
suffer with
he'll
super low
probably
carbs.
go, 100 to 50 grams a day, maybe.
And then muffin.
And
Yeah, I think
That's way more than Milos gave you. He gave you nothing.
I let him see the carbs on the picture.
I think it's like
it's
Yeah.
it's a
I think
trial and
it's,
error thing. Everyone's
to
different.
do what's necessary, and I think Chris knows what to do with the physique that he has in front of him. So
Okay, you've seen Andrew Jack posing. In the gym. Okay, you too. When you were at UK, right? You were saying like conditioning was not on, right?
No.
But when you look at him from the front, he has this is where I want you to pay attention. He can be off and still from the front. His legs are going to be deeply separated, sharp, right? Abs crazy,
insane.
chest rated. So he would leave the illusion of being better conditioned than he is.
Yeah.
When you turn around, that's what usually, if you're not conditioned, you can tell, and that's what costs him. But Andrew, really conditioned, that's gonna.
The problem.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Andrew wins this show standing from the front.
Oh, all day.
He's gonna.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate to say it. Even Samson, like, he's just got too much. He just stands there when he comes and he stands.
Yeah.
It's like, wow,
Yeah.
So
You can't-
if he can turn around and be enough, he wins this contest.
So, okay, if you're gonna go pose by pose, front relax, front lat spread, front double bicep. Andrew is super dangerous, very hard to beat. Side poses, he can be beaten by many, and back poses, he can be beaten by
I
many.
know, man, but that front pose means a lot.
I know.
It sets the
It sets the
tone.
tone,
'cause
dude.
you just stand
It sets the tone.
That's how
agree.
Samson got
He's
his
just
place
standing
at the
there.
Listen,
Olympia because
yeah.
he stood next to Rami. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
And his
Like,
shape showed.
he got noticed, right?
Yeah. My back sucked, so as far as I'm concerned, I wish we never turn around.
All right, the next person, since you're talking, Patrick Moore.
Ooh, Patrick has a beautiful physique. I remember when Chris Acedo showed me the pictures before, whatever, I don't know, when he was really on. Quality, fibers, small waist, crazy lats, full chest, full arms, yeah. But legs were a little bit behind, and he would, look kind of lengthy, and to the point that some people would suggest go to the Classic. So beautiful physique. I have no doubts he's going to be conditioned, but he was standing next to the monsters, and especially when you look at the lower body, and if you don't have tree trunks standing next to Rami, Samson, Andrew Jack. I mean, he might fade away, but his last-minute entry, I don't know even if he was in the prep, he probably was good enough and safe.
If I remember right, didn't he have like Achilles tear?
Yeah.
That's
Somebody
what
said.
sidelined him.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I think I saw
I
it.
saw something like
Beautiful physique.
Yeah. Wasn't he in the... He competed
Did he
in
do
Reno.
Reno?
Yeah.
I thought so.
He did Reno.
Yeah.
Because we saw him
Where
outside.
did he
Yeah.
place?
He didn't. He wasn't in shape.
Yeah, he's just the size is gonna be an
Yeah.
issue. I mean, the shape will be crazy,
great
but who does he compare well with in this lineup is the question.
You would want to compare him, with Andrew Jack because they kind of have that shape.
much
Still,
but
it's size difference.
size difference is
Shorter,
huge.
too,
Yeah.
no? He's much shorter.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in a minute, so I mean, I guess it's just we'll
It'll
have
be
to
good to
see what
see
he
him back
bounces
on
back.
stage.
Like,
He'll be fresh. He'll be good. Yeah.
All right, Jay, the next person, Justin Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, great showing last year. I mean, he's
He got third last year, right?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
He nailed it.
he's in the mix. I think this guy could be.
I think Justin needs a break. To be honest, he's done a lot of shows.
He's been competing hard for a
He's
while.
been competing. I just every time I see his name on lists, I'm like, wow, this guy's still going.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm like, he's been competing since. What do we do? Boston, Arnold's
He was
last
in Boston,
year,
Arnold,
and
yeah.
it's just like he just kept doing another one,
Yeah.
another one, another one. I'm like,
And he was
wow.
he was at Reno this year too.
Yeah, really?
Got second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I take my hat off to
Antonio.
him because, yeah,
It's impressive. I just
he is, but yeah.
He's like the Milos of
He's the Spartan.
2020.
See, I will never admit this, like you're burned out and tired. And I never accept it for myself.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. When he came on the stage at Arnold Classic initially last year, I said, "Whew, he's winning." I mean, really, he was so full. He was so hard, ripped and dry, that he could battle with William Boniak. I didn't see Brandon Curry in great condition, so as much as I want to award the shape, you have to look for conditioning, shape plus conditioning. So I thought that Justin could win, but then he said fading. And then ever since that prejudging, now that you mentioned, he never repeated. I mean, he was kind of good at the Boston show a week later. You got to give it to him. But also, it was not 100%. If he is fully peaked, like some of the pictures going into the show, when you see kind of striated glutes and thin skin, a crazy front and back double biceps, that shape like Victor Martinez, right? But is he going to be competitive with this top 5? I doubt.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. I don't know what he's. I don't know. He could be just burned out. But let's see. Let's see what he does here. I was in Reno. He got second, and second might have been a gift.
He got second.
No, this was last year.
Yeah.
The year before Regan did. Yeah. So Antonio won, and he nailed it. But if Justin would have been on, he would have won the show for sure. But he was just. You just looked like he wasn't his typical self.
How was Justin at the Olympia?
I don't know. I don't know where he placed it all.
And then Tonio, like the two of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe. Well, let's see. We'll see what he looks like.
When you have a 30 guys and
yeah.
short attention span, and judges
Outside
have to
of the
just
top 12, I don't
move you.
remember who was where. All right, the next person is Nick Walker. Go ahead.
So I have to say this. Nick can win, and very well he can win. They call me a Nick hater. I absolutely love the guy. It's just I always pick up my mind. He's crazy condition already. He has that freak factor. Nobody can deny it. He is a fan favorite. He's probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular, right?
For sure.
So, okay. But physique still needs to be balanced out. His lower body doesn't match his upper body. Okay. Aesthetic part of the physique, he needs to improve. There's a lot of guys that are way more aesthetic than him, right? So he's going to bring condition, freak factor. I think that he improved since Olympia. You've seen those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's first favorite going into the show. He's the highest placing Olympian. They see him. He sees himself as a winner. He's not going to take a second place, but he's going to have some tough competition.
What do you think, Regan?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely one of the favorites. He's probably the heaviest muscled guy there, and then just the shape. But for me, like I said again, I'll go back to the Samson and Andrew. I just look at them first, and I like the look of that physique. So it is always a preference. Some people like that freak factor. Some people like the aesthetics. And for me, I would choose as the winner, Samson or Andrew.
Can I just jump in because sorry, Jay, I always use you as an example, right? And you're always good.
I know where this is going.
No, you don't. Yeah, so, did they consider you like one of the most aesthetic guys? They didn't. But in a symmetry round, you bring the balance. You bring the V-taper. You bring the X-frame. So this is what I'm saying. One thing is being aesthetic, shapely, okay? But the other thing is, still balanced. So, much bigger, wider, so how do you judge? So that's the only thing that I say about Nick. His legs are still not up to the upper body.
Jay?
He wins this contest. He wins this show. I don't think there's I don't think there's any doubt in my mind he doesn't win this contest.
Yeah.
We all have our opinions. I just know Nick's mindset. I know his vision. I know every night before he goes to bed, he's visualizing winning this competition. And sometimes, you can't overtake someone's willpower, and he believes more than anyone on this planet. We can talk about the confidence on these people leading into the shows. I just don't think there's anyone more dedicated than Nick Walker. And I think, in the end, he'll be a 2-time champ.
Okay. When you say more dedicated, in which sense?
Just his mindset to bodybuilding.
Mindset is off the chart. Like I said, he believes he already won. He
hasn't missed a beat. He's been training consistently. He never stopped doing his cardio, which, questionable whether he needs it or not. We had this cardio discussion last week. I just think that, he just has the visualization and believes. I mean, you can just, every time you see him out there and people try to tear him down, and we got a little heat from, the plus critics about our thought process. And I'm going to go on record and say again, if the Olympia, was whatever it was, and if we were doing the Olympia over again a month after, and you compared Derek and Nick, I feel Nick Walker beats Derek. And I know people say, you're crazy, this and that, but let's take the wow factor out of seeing Derek at the Mr. Olympia for the first time. And he has amazing shape. But there's a reason he's sitting out this contest, because he's not prepared to go head-to-head with the best in the world time and time again. Okay? He needs to improve to come to the Olympia to either solidify second or win the title. Okay? And I don't know if he can build enough dense, conditioned, mature muscle to battle Hadi Chupin next year. That you have two guys, and then you take the equation of those guys are a shorter stature. Hadi is definitely a grainier bodybuilder than Derek. Granted, from the back, he's amazing. Nick Walker is the X factor. And now you have one of those guys missing, both guys missing, and you put Nick up against, even the shapely guys with his mindset, with his vision, with his studying, because they're studying the poses, right? How can I beat this or that? I know you question, but Nick Walker is going to be better for this Arnold than he was 10 weeks ago.
I don't question. I believe so. Really, I believe he's already better right now when you compare 6 weeks out, Olympia 6 weeks out. He's most determined. I love everything that you say, that vision. And I don't know if you have that. I wish you can have Nick Walker's mindset, because one thing is wishing and the other thing is knowing. He knows. And you got to give it to him. And I would still say, as much as there is still a physique contest and you have to be judged. And I agree with you that he's probably sure in to win. But I'm going to do everything possible with Samson to
We said
him.
Rami was going to win the Olympia.
Yeah.
We were pretty damn confident, right? All of us,
too.
right?
Yeah.
But damn, Walker's just on fire right now. That's just my opinion.
And I heard some of the other pod people talk about Jay and I saying that Nick would beat Derek if they're going one-on-one.
Yeah.
And to me, it's all about comparisons. Nick against Derek, I do believe he overwhelms him if there's not a third person there. And Derek compares better to Hadi than Nick does because of the shape. But I do believe if Derek was here, I still think Nick would beat him because of that. Because he's going to get better, and I don't know.
And he's also won an Arnold title.
Yeah, but he's the other thing too that no one's talking about. This, Derek. This is what Nick's second year. He's already done an Arnold. He's done 2 Olympias. He's done the New York Pro. He did the Chicago Pro before. Derek has only done the Olympia in the last 6 years, so he doesn't have that. So Nick has that experience too. That
Tampa, right?
Confidence. He did Tampa after he turned pro, and he's only done the Olympia since.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes doing those other shows, it just builds your confidence. Hey, I can win this show. I can win this show. I can win this show. I can win this show.
Hey,
I think it matters.
if second place in Mr. Olympia doesn't build your confidence, winning Chicago Pro is not going to do it.
But going
Yeah.
and winning an Arnold like Nick did, that gives him confidence going into the Olympia, and then coming into Olympia again. And if he goes
but
and wins
Derek-
another Arnold,
Derek won on some score sheets by the judges. He was not crystal clear, and Nick Walker was not really, compared. So yes, I understand from a standpoint of overwhelming.
yeah,
Muscle building, not bodybuilding. If muscle building is criteria, yeah, he wins. Yeah, but
So just think of this comparison real quick. Nick was beating Hottie from the back in some of the shots, right?
no,
You don't think so? Well, I'm just saying.
I don't know.
No, not Nick. I'm saying Derek was
Yeah,
beating Hottie.
yeah.
But you know what? Derek next to Nick's back double is crazy
No
too.
comparison. No,
You don't think so?
no. First, he puts those legs way wide. That it doesn't look shapy.
I know, but listen, dude, Derek stood really wide too, and we didn't like that.
But from the back, back double
I
biceps.
know, but like you're picking apart his body, like how he certain poses. But dude, he's third in the world. Like, how can you question? So you're saying Samson stood better or Rami stood better? Because you know what I mean?
No, but you guys and somebody else mentioned today also that Nick's back double biceps is off the chart. Yeah, it's great.
It's one of the best.
But the Derek, it's not even close.
There's not a lot of weak poses on Nick Walker, right? We picked apart the front lat spread, but I
The
mean,
back lat spread.
he won the side chest, right? I mean,
it was good. I
think his side shots are his best shots. That's just my opinion. Because he's so dense from the side.
and I don't know if you were a believer in Nick Walker. I mean, this is the thing. He was texting me from the contest at prejudging because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And he said to me, Hottie's off. And he said, Derek's so far winning this. He didn't say, oh, Nick Walker is unbelievable or whatever else. But then once you line them all up.
Once Hottie started posing, he got harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
Because right away, when Hottie
he
first
first
walked
came
out, I
out.
was like,
Yeah,
that's
Impressionist.
not what he normally looks like.
No.
I agree.
But as they started posing, I said so far, Derek was the most impressive one. When you put them next to each other, then you saw Hottie slowly move.
Listen, 2020, before the Arnold Classic, I said the same thing about Nick. Same thing. And then 13 seconds into the prejudging, just like 2009, I would text you like, you won. He won. It was like so convincing. It was not a comparison. I mean, and then when you say make me believer, I went backstage and he was with Steve Kuklo, and it was like for first a second in front of Steve, I congratulate. Look, you made me a believer. He was so outstanding. He was winning a hands down. But I think this is a stiffer competition.
Who's going to outcondition Nick Walker?
Sean Clarita.
I know that we're not. Listen, I know that's his teammate, so that doesn't count. But that's you got to look at that with enough size. We talk about conditioning and the right combination, so it's going to come down to combinations here. Let's be real about it. So, how combined is Samson and Andrew Jack and Rami, the big dudes? Are they going to have enough combination to push Nick to the side? I have a hard time believing that.
You said that you want to see Rami and Nick.
I already saw him at the Olympia, yeah.
Okay. And you think that Nick blew him off the stage?
No. I think, dude, I'm saying Rami can come and win this contest, but I think that when you're a little bit beaten down, you're still questioning, like, damn, like they said, I have holes here, this, that, they talked about, like, this. Everyone has their mixed opinions on why Rami lost. Rami wasn't full. Like, Rami needed to be Rami.
Yeah.
If he was full, that skin would have been much tighter.
that would have been
that's
tighter.
true,
The
yeah.
appearance would have been, there would have been more, like, roundness to everything.
So if Rami comes in shape, does he beat Nick?
Pause by pause.
Listen, Rami, we talked about it.
If he's
Rami
100, if
comes in
Rami's 100%,
he beats everybody.
He beats everyone, yeah.
He's still big Rami.
How crazy is that there's legit 5 guys that could win this show?
So, I mean, I was saying the same thing before Rami wins. Rami wins on the basis of he won 2 years because he was just overwhelming. The wide, but I'm with him. What is this? All the tall guys are coming in,
Basketball players,
We said Andrew Jack and Samson shape-wise, this is. I would like to see this is the future of bodybuilding. So nothing to say against Nick or Big Rami. They have their attributes, but again, consider everything what you want to spread. And I think that Nick is the biggest favorite. If you give me $1 million right now and say you can put only on one guy,
We have one of the fans that donated $1 million for my comeback, so we probably could make that bet.
I didn't see that check clear. Well, hold on. Well, before we get out of it, we still have to talk about Akeem Williams.
yeah.
We left him off. So
Hey, but you didn't say anything about Nick. How is
oh
it?
yeah, go ahead, Regan.
Yeah.
No.
He did.
He
said-
started.
Yeah.
Well, then talk about Akeem.
Akeem. Damn, Akeem's frontal biceps is the craziest. I don't know though. He's a dark horse. I don't know if he's could win the show. I'm gonna say no, just because I think that there's too many other strong guys here. But he's got a ton of muscle and he's
Should he be in the top 5?
I would put him 4 or 5. Yeah,
I say,
yeah. Akeem 4 or 5.
He's going to beat some good guys to get there.
Yeah.
He is.
You
But he's good.
If he's 100%.
If he's 100%, he's 4 or 5.
Okay, at
or
the
maybe
end,
even third. If
at
he's
the end, we're going to have to
100%.
put a prediction. So
Does
then
Sean? No, we're not doing the predictions yet. It's too early.
No, because then everyone hates
does
us.
Sean Clarita beat Akeem?
Yes.
Okay, well, dude, what's for fourth? Like, what do we got? You're saying
I think I'm just expanding. I'm just expanding.
we don't want to
I
say
don't know.
placings, but he, I think improved. We haven't seen him come back for that 6th place Olympia that
like
year.
this.
We know the back double, like the lower lats, right? He has high lats, so
They
he has a
pop out,
crazy
though. It's
illusion,
crazy.
whatever. So I don't know who's coaching him. I think that's kind of the missing link to where he had the best combination. But in shape, I mean, listen, he can compare with all these guys. He has the size, but he just needs more detail. And I think that's where he's going to have issues with an Andrew Jack and even like a Justin Rodriguez if he comes in, the crazy condition like you talked about last year at the Arnold. Like someone like him could beat him if Akeem's not spot on.
Yeah, so if Akeem is not on, he's not contender even. He's going to slip all the way down. But if he's 100% on and maybe a little bit more condition at 6th place at Olympia that year, he is a danger. His arms and the legs, just look, arms and legs. It's craziest. I mean, Jesus Christ. Some people have arms in a down position. So most muscular is side chest and some. When he lifts those arms, those peaks are crazy, and then super small waist, V taper, crazy. Legs, front side back. Front side back. The only thing about him is that thickness of the skin from the back, and then lower lat insertions, and he looks off always when he turns around. But for me, now when you say, I said Kamal didn't beat him in Florida because it was still a muscle contest. So make up your mind if it's shape or bodybuilding or muscle building. Combination, Akeem has a combination of both. He has a shape. He's a shapely monster.
Yeah.
But I have my doubts that he would be 100% dialed in. If he's not dialed in, he's not going to be in top 6.
He's still twisted about the Nick Walker conversation. I can tell.
Yeah, because I wanna clarify this.
Just express yourself here.
If you give me
Say
$1
what
million,
you want.
Listen, if you guys give me $1 million, okay, hypothetically speaking,
Let's
you
see
say,
if
Matt,
you
you
like
can
fucking
hear this.
$10.
We're talking
you can
$1 million bet.
you can put only on one guy. I would bet on Nick because it's the biggest chance to.
I love that because
yeah.
Nick thinks that you are 100% against him.
No, whatsoever. No.
But your points are valid. I totally get it. And you remember, coming from a critic to an athlete, it's a whole different perception, especially when you're on a contest diet and you're aiming for a big contest, because they think that you're kind of putting negative energy towards them, right?
Ooh, yeah, that's bad.
But I understand what you're saying. He is not the most shapely guy, but there's just a lot of factors of him leading in. And we can talk about, we talked about greats. Think about all the greats in your era that if they just nail it, like Paul Dillette.
Yeah.
Like, think about how lethal he was.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't pose right, or the
back
back
was
wasn't there. What about Jean-Pierre Fuchs when he came on the scene? Do you remember how crazy he
96,
was?
yeah,
And
97.
And, in the end, we looked at Dorian Yates the same way. I'm like, in the magazine, why is he winning? And then when you see him in person, you're like, okay, I understand why he's winning. Lee Haney, I know you had the conversation with Lee Haney. Lee Haney, I didn't feel like had the most outstanding legs, but you saw him and you
Or
were just
arms.
like, forget it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it was like so overwhelming. So for a record, Nick Walker can win both Olympia and Arnold Classic, very, very possibly, and it could happen. So my negative energy is nothing to do with it because I really love the guy. He's so likable, and that mindset. Oh my God! If you already seen it, and he already won the contest, he's probably already investing $300,000 somewhere.
I think that's why people like listen to you, though, and I don't mean to cut you off, because you do speak your mind and you're honest about things. And, I think that's what, when we come on and we kind of get this group together, we wanted to bring you on today because, like, what we say is we're not trying to go against anyone or upset anyone. And unfortunately, when you have a breakdown of competitors, we have to say positives and negatives, right? And this happened to me. And listen, sometimes I got a little defensive because I felt like people were coming at me in certain ways, and I had on and off conditions. But do you think I'm crazy when I say that Nick would beat Derek in a showdown again right now?
No. I mean, it's very, very possible. I completely see your side of the story.
Do you feel, though, if there was that much confidence of Derek to compete against Nick again, like especially with all the talk out there, do you feel like, egos aside, because probably Derek has zero ego, we know that he's such a nice guy, wouldn't you be like, fuck it, I'm going after this thing and I'll prove to them like whatever? Or if he felt he was ready, because Nick's like cheering everyone on, everyone that signs up. Hey, Big Rami, Andrew Jack, come on, He's like excited to have these guys
because he wants to beat him.
Yes.
Yeah, he's super confident. Yeah.
Nicest guy, gentleman all the way, supportive. He would support you and anybody else. Nick is first class, class act by all means. But what you're saying now, him and Derek, going into Olympia, that's going to be a battle.
No, I'm
for
not
many
even
years
talking about
ago.
the Olympia. I'm talking about if they
Right now.
If this was a showdown again, and I hate to throw the Arnold out there because it's a big contest. There's a lot of great guys, but I'm just saying, like, do you agree that if we had that showdown again without the hype of like the special invitation, Derek coming, and the wow factor of Derek, I just think that leading into 23 Olympia, Derek now is going to have that. He's going to lack that wow factor because the expectations now we've seen, right? Okay, he's really produced. And we called it. It's not like this was like a miracle, like, oh, he came out of nowhere. We knew he was going to push that top 5, and we said he could be second. We never thought he could necessarily win because the guy never comes in and wins. I thought Andrew Jack would have a better chance of winning over Derek. But, man, like... this showdown happens. Who wins, in your opinion? I'm going to put you on the spot.
On
Nick versus Derek, and if the show was today, like if it was this weekend, do you think Derek still wins? Tell me. Don't think about it.
yeah.
Okay.
By all means, look.
Derek beats him.
Frontal legs, no question. Frontal biceps, as big arms as Nick has. That V taper is like fucking crazy.
I have no issue with it. If
lat spread, it's 3 in a row. Okay, so give side chest to Nick. Okay,
Side triceps.
Side triceps. Yeah, I mean, I would go if Nick wins. I have no problem. Back double, back lat spread. No matter how good Nick is, Derek wins.
The quality.
Okay. But ab shot and most muscular, it's question. That's where Nick can come in. So it would be, most muscular probably Nick wins, And ab shot, I criticize Derek that he doesn't have those deep, dry abs that he needs to improve.
this is turning into a contest, isn't it, bro?
Yeah. So what did I say? 4-4 in the closing. Oh shit.
And then then it just goes.
But I'm gonna point something out, bro.
No, 5-3.
One thing we have that we all agree on is Nick is improving.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. If the show is today, he knew what he was heading for. Yeah. That's why.
So how come he didn't sign up for it originally?
I don't know.
You guys know. These guys know everything. They just don't want to say it. Why did he didn't sign up?
I have no idea. I didn't know.
Who didn't sign up?
Why, Nick?
Originally.
I have no idea on that. I thought you meant Derek.
No, Nick. Why? You guys know everything.
Nick, he was waiting because
For the extra
like,
100,000.
no, it was big announcement for him. They did a whole. You remember they had graphics, they had everything done. I mean, he knew, dude. He knew he was coming. I mean,
You know, I've seen a poster today on the Instagram, and there was 4 guys, but Samson was not there. Like, oh shit, that's not good.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I think the other thing too that no one's talking about is if the two of them are the last two standing, let's say this weekend, that confidence that Nick has can affect somebody standing next to you.
Sure.
I'm not saying Derek is or isn't confident, but Nick's confidence is so next level that it can affect you and make the judge's eyes come back to you when you're that confident.
Actually, in the history of bodybuilding, I don't think I've seen anybody as confident. Now no, Jay's demeanor was always okay.
Jay wasn't vocal about it like Nick
Yeah,
is.
I mean, he goddamn wins the Olympia, and there was no smile, nothing.
because I knew I would.
Yeah, that would be
I knew
me.
it.
No, but
Jay Cutler, that would be me.
But
Give me a
am I
trophy.
wrong there when I say if you're that confident, the guy next to you sees
a
it, and
diff- it
feels
makes a
it, and
difference
it
for
could
sure.
affect you?
But
I mean, but
Yeah,
I could care less if you're confident and I do my stuff.
that's you.
Yeah, but confidence is a huge thing. And
Judges.
am
see
I
it.
crazy by saying this? I think that his level of confidence is not seen yet. I mean, look, you won Olympia 4 times, and maybe you were going into the show now that you're pointing him that you're going to beat Phil for sure, and you're going to beat. You know what I mean?
Phil had that confidence.
He has
compare.
He has a great tool. He has social media, which you haven't. This is a new age, right? And he's witnessed because he's the youngest. You know, it's a great tool. It's a great, the remake of all the videos, the intensity, and you can turn a persona even of like a very quiet guy and someone who's very introverted like I was into look at my videos out there now from my content. I look like I have this different personality that I was a damn robot. And all I didn't say anything, but they've turned this now with the content to being like, they have these voiceovers, I was so confident and I was going to come to this show like this. Now, like they're speaking for me, creating this media. So I think it's a whole media campaign that we didn't have. The magazines they asked the questions and it was just dry answers of we'll see what happens.
you weren't putting out stuff daily.
No,
You didn't have
and
to, you know?
Nick's he's kind of figured it out. He's that new age and but I mean, he's definitely, of all the other guys, he's got a lot more confidence. I mean,
But you didn't answer.
he's getting confidence of the men's physique guys, because the men's physique guys are pretty damn confident.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that. But here,
Very.
I was never as confident. I never went to the show thinking I can win, except that one time. But I ask you, with your level of confidence, you first elaborated how nobody is as confident. When you compare you and Nick, level of confidence.
Yeah, I think he's more confident because
Yeah.
he doesn't have Ronnie
So-
Coleman.
He doesn't have Ronnie
You know
Coleman in
what
front of him. I was just
I'm
going to say that. The guys that Nick has in front of him, he sees a path to beating them. To where Jay saw the path, but it was still,
Yeah, questionable. Yeah.
you have the best of all time in front of
right
you.
there.
So it's a little different. I mean, he's looking at Hottie and Derek, and he was looking at Ronnie.
Listen, he's amongst peers too. Like he's not amongst like guys that have been there as veterans. Like I came up and beat Sean Ray's and Kevin's, and I was fighting Ronnie Coleman and Flex. I was beating guys that I thought I had no business ever being on the same stage as them at a certain point in my career. So it's a little different when Nick amongst his peers, he feels like, okay,
He feels he's a superior guy.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He feels he's better than them right now.
Yes. Because he's
And
not
he has a valid argument.
he
for
doesn't
that.
have to. He doesn't have to respect the guys like I did as much. Not to say he doesn't, but these guys aren't like Brandon Curry maybe because he's been a veteran for a long time, but he's already passed him, right?
His interview was that he believes he beat Derek on Olympia, that he should play second.
I thought I
already.
beat Ronnie Coleman every time.
Yeah.
But he has an argument for that.
Really, every time? You couldn't pass it. 2003, come on. It was,
His stomach was really big in 03, and they were supposed to be judging that a lot more then. I mean, he beat me from the backside, but from the front, Ronnie, like if you look at the condition, he was big, but he didn't have the detail. you could argue all the way around. He was just a bigger.
I mean, I take my hat off to you. You battled with Ronnie.
I mean, you said my 09 would
Yeah.
beat Ronnie Coleman in
That's
03.
it.
So
I understand.
thought
I
so.
understand what Jay's saying there. If you look at who's ahead of Nick right now, Hottie just won. He's only been in the Olympia stage 3 times, but he never won an Arnold. Derek was in front of him. This is his first time there. But when Jay was in that position, look at the other people that he was battling to get there. So he had to have that. Derek probably hasn't earned Nick's respect because this is his first Olympian Open. Hottie probably has his respect, but Hottie just got that title to where Ronnie had 3 titles already, and Flex had Arnold's already, and Kevin had Arnold's, and Sean had Arnold's, and all these guys had major titles that he was ahead of. So he might have been a little more timid going in to where Nick's like, F off, I'm going to smash
anyone
you.
that says, "Oh, I shouldn't have won," or like, come on, stop. Like, let's just
You shouldn't have won.
like no. But I mean, you gotta like. You think I'm going to sit here now and say, "Of course, I didn't believe in myself." No, screw that. Like, I truly did. Like, I thought in 03, like it's a matter of opinion. I think some poses I won overall. Yeah, I mean, he came in like a freak. He improved enough. I mean, he overwhelmed me. I mean, from the back, he was just crazy, but. Would that have kept winning is the question, because people say that wasn't his best. I mean, 98 was his best, right?
I believe he believes it's 98. Some people think it's 99, and some people think 2001 Arnold Classic. But 2001 going into the Olympia, nobody expected you to. Did you have that confidence before the stage already, or once you were there?
Chris Aceto, like he, remember he had been seasoned, so he looked at me and said, "Dude, this is hard to beat." And remember, I had, in 2000 on the tour, I got to stand next to Ronnie, and I was second to him in 2 contests.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I talked to Dennis.
And I was in good shape.
Yeah.
I moved up from 8th and whatever, and so I got to see this is, and he wasn't the 03 Ronnie yet. He wasn't as big, so I saw some opportunity. Let's put it that way. So yes, the confidence was there.
Mm-hmm. So Regan, how are you gonna fare next to Nick Walker next time you compete?
It's going to be at the Olympia.
Talk in the microphone.
At the Olympia, I'm going to beat him.
He's starting to get the Nick confidence.
Hey, so how many of us believe that?
I don't think Regan believes that.
Yeah, but I have to give it to him. God damn, Nick is so confident. Yeah, now I made that statement. He's most confident.
Will he win
in
the
history
most
of sport.
muscular award also is the question. He will, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
And will he win?
Unless
Is
Rami
there a
wins.
people's champ or?
Unless
There's no people.
Unless Rami, yeah.
Unless Rami's in shape, then Rami will win it.
Yeah.
If you were to say, so we all seem that Nick's the favored to win, and I know your answer, but I'm going to ask Regan first. Who do you think has the best chance of upsetting him?
Upsetting
Nick. If Nick should win, but who would have the best chance of upsetting him?
I think Rami, for sure. I think Rami could come in and win. Rami, and then Samson Andrew. I don't know. I can't. It's hard,
There's
so
3
hard
guys
for
that
me
think that could do it.
Samson, yeah.
But
I would say
Samson-
Samson, yeah.
You said it yourself
Samson-
that if you judged, you would give Samson 3rd place.
Yep.
Okay, so focus on.
That's my personal
Okay,
opinion.
so now focus on that one.
Okay, but there's 2 things here. There's my opinion, what I think the judges are going to do.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
2
exactly.
totally
Yeah, yeah.
separate things.
Oh,
That's how you have
that's
to-
how I speak. If I'm a judge, it will be no contest.
Yeah.
We don't have to really compete.
Yeah.
Right.
Samson
I know,
will
but
win.
you're biased, dude.
No, okay. Nick and Andrew Jack, if I'm a judge, there's no contest. If I'm a judge.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I know
same.
I'm not a judge. So if I have to consider what judging, you give me $1 million,
So what do you
I'm
mean?
going to bet
What do you mean? So who wins? At Andrew
Andrew
Jack
Jack.
versus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew Jack's physique beats Nick's physique anytime.
If you were to train Andrew Jack and Samson at the same time, who wins?
That's difficult. Yeah, the poses. Yeah, okay.
That's such,
Front left spread.
What a hell of a team that is,
Yeah.
huh, bro?
wow.
Yeah,
Go
That's
through
like
each
the-
pose. Go through each pose, Milos. Who wins
Oh,
the front
God.
double?
front double and let's spread. I could see Andrew winning.
Samson from the
Side chest, side triceps, hands down, Samson. Back poses, yeah, because it's weakness for Andrew Jack. And they always say Samson still need to bring up the back. I was still thinking that both is Samson win. Yeah.
Be a hell of a battle, though, wouldn't it? If they were in top.
Abshot.
They're gonna
Abshot would probably go to Andrew.
No, Andrew.
Yeah. And then most muscular. Yeah, they're both good, but I would give it to Samson. It's very close. This is me, biased coach. Yeah. I'm not. I mean, I'm really a realist.
I'm going to put that on your Instagram.
They're going to battle it out. Sure.
Most biased coach in history.
But you know what, though? I think the biggest shocker would be Andrew, because we have no idea what Aceto and Psycho can do with him, because I've seen firsthand what they did with Roden. Mm-hmm. And
should I text Psycho right now and say, how's Andrew looking?
They're going to be here. They're going to be here in a couple days.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
You're here? Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, because Psycho's training, right?
I told him I don't want to see him, though. I don't want to look at him.
Why don't you want to look at anybody?
He doesn't want to be biased.
Yeah. Hey, but listen, what is Andrew Jack? 6'2" and 290 something? Okay.
And he's got a waist as small
Structure, fucking unbelievable, right? A high quality muscle mass. He would lag from the side, okay, and from the back. But back is not bad, whatsoever. And then you're showing the shoulders and bicep triceps from the back. Woo.
You're talking like what you know of him. You're not like the new and improved could be a big change.
I would love to see. He could be the wild card, Andrew, because he's got Aceto and Psycho there.
Aceto brings him super, super dry, detailed.
He could win.
He could win.
He could be the complete shocker and come in and spoil everyone.
Absolutely, that's right.
And then, but you know what though? This show, if
man.
Nick goes and wins it, which he should, if he goes and wins it, it puts him in the driver's seat to be compared to Hadi going to the Olympia.
Oh, he's going to be compared to Hadi.
No, I mean he's going to, but they're going to look at him, because I've always thought whoever wins the Arnold is the front runner, not the guy who got second. They're the front runner going into the Olympia.
Sad thing is that Hadi Chupan couldn't compete in the Arnold Classic. I'm sure that he's in shape.
I'm sure
right
he would
now.
love to.
Yeah,
300,000, and he's always in shape. But that visa thing, that's such a bummer.
Yeah, I wish there was a way that he could get more of a long term, because I would be willing to bet he would have done it.
He's in shape year round. Yep. I mean, he's now when you say most motivated.
He's on a different level.
Yeah, we just don't see him as much. So
true.
I'm just saying, visually, what we see. I mean, just like I said, Walker's just.
You talk to Hani, he would tell you about.
Hani kind of doesn't really. He doesn't. I mean, we talked about. I joked and I said I'm going to pick Derek to win the show, and Hani's like, no. Not like we weren't sure.
I think I said that to him. He's like, no, it's something like that, and I said, dude, don't try to undersell it. I know he's going to look great, and he looked great.
I mean, if Hani was coaching Andrew Jack, if he was coaching any of these guys, I think a lot of guys would have problems, But I do have some confidence.
Were you trying to say Hani's better than Milos?
Yeah.
I mean, his track record. He's
the track record, of course.
Yeah,
the track record.
He won just 20-something Olympias. Like, what the fuck is that?
Hey, you got one. You got one.
Showdown.
People don't give him credit. Monica Brandt.
By the way,
you helped Monica Brandt? Yeah. I didn't know
98,
that.
98.
Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Speaking.
So you got an Olympia before Hani did.
Hey, and more feminine too.
You got Olympia before Hani, and you've beat Jay. So I need to see your Instagram.
Listen, by all means, you said something when I asked you that Hani never misses, and he didn't miss on all three guys. Yep. All the respect to him. He created all these Mr. Olympias. I just thought that Hadi Chupan was always ripped regardless. Yep. That Hadi could not miss if he tries to miss. And Derek, I wasn't really super impressed with his 2021 front. And in 2022, we were thinking, is he going to dramatically improve? And he still didn't improve, which now brings the question, is he going to improve by 2023? When I talked to Derek at the banquet, I really said, if you can bring that harness striations and just train for it and deeper abs, then he's a front runner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think this is where Hadi beat him.
Because he did it without that. So I mean.
This is where Hadi beat him. There's many poses when you really look about, even front lat spread that I gave Derek over Nick. Here, nothing is happening, right? And then even side chest, there's not enough separation, striation. tie-ins.
But all those
brachialis.
years of reps in the gym that Hottie has, it shows.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a big difference. Anything else?
So here is where Andrew Jack comes in, because he has this.
He has
I don't
all
know
the crazy.
I don't know how many years he trained. Somebody told me, hey, don't believe that he's like just like few years, that he was training for 20 years already.
I don't know. I've never asked him.
Ask him next time. Yeah, he's coming, right? What, Wednesday?
Why are you asking?
So
Why are you worried about
listen,
it?
we're gonna get back. We're gonna get you back on because we want to talk about some posing stuff because we didn't have time today to do it. But on our next episode,
We need a Milos rant. The
And,
posing
me-
rant.
Hey, am I right or wrong?
Regan, we appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, thanks for
and,
having me.
I hope training's going great for you. I mean, you look massive.
Yeah, thank you.
I
How much you
hope
weight?
Almost 300.
you better have
Almost.
some meals because I know we kept you here for a minute.
Yeah,
and,
time to eat.
How many meals a day are you eating right now?
6.
Better.
6.
You better.
It's kind of like 8 though.
Okay.
It's like
Wait.
This-
Hold on.
this
Hold on.
plan.
I know I don't have a PhD or anything, but what do you mean 6, but kind of like 8? How did?
well, there's like 2 shakes that are like heavy.
Okay.
heavy
I was like, there's
heavy
6 and
in-
8. There's a
heavy in carbs.
Is this the
and
Milos
protein.
concoction special shake?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
we
5
have
meals
to.
around the workout.
Yeah, force.
I'm
Push it in.
gonna test this Milos
Yeah.
concoction for my 50
do
fit
it.
thing.
But, as soon as he provides you with the specifics.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on.
Awesome. All right.
We'll see you for another episode coming up soon, and keep at it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.